Hey, let's get to Arsenal then. Mikel Arteta has been speaking to the media today, and by the sounds of things, he's still pushing for more signings before the end of this window.
Well, I said that I was extremely happy with the way that we have approached the window and how aggressive we've been, and there's still a long period still with the window open. So far we are very happy with what we have achieved. Make sure that at the end of the window we continue to be super happy.
OK, so he wants to be super happy. What does that exactly mean, Dharmesh? I mean, they've brought in a decent amount of players. They got that elusive striker they wanted. What's next?
Well, decent amount of players, 6 players.
Yeah.
Kepa, you could argue the best. Well, what a goalkeeping department. What a goalkeeping department now at Arsenal. Christian Mosquera, centre-back. Martin Zubimendi, Christian Norgard, Noni Madueke and Victor Gyökeres. I've been talking about them all window. I've memorised them all now. But the focus has turned to potential sales. That said, we're told that interest does remain in Crystal Palace's Eberechi Eze. And dialogue, quite significantly, remains open between Arsenal and his representatives. Look, he's got a release clause in his contract, has Eze. We believe that to be around £68 million all in, which is an initial £60 million plus £8 million in performance-related add-ons. And even more significantly, perhaps, we understand that Eze is potentially open to that move. It's just one to keep an eye on in the final few weeks of this transfer window. But for now, as I mentioned, they're looking at possible departures. Fulham remain in talks with Arsenal over a possible loan move for Reiss Nelson. He was there for a season-long loan last season, though it was cut short in December with a serious hamstring injury. And it's thought that the club are listening to suitable offers for a number of other players, including Alexander Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, Albert Sambi Lokonga, who is still at the club. James was saying in the break, he's still there. I said, yes. He's still there.
Only 25 still.
Wow.
Yeah, and Borussia Dortmund are interested in Leandro Trossard. That was a report that Sky Germany mentioned last week. Arsenal not actively looking to sell Trossard because he is a great squad player for them. But you just wonder, with the 2 years left of his contract, with the likes of Noni Madueke coming in, with the likes of Victor Gyökeres coming in, will that further reduce the game time that Leandro Trossard would want next season? Maybe something for him to think about if there is concrete interest in him.
And just briefly, on Eze, he wants to go to Arsenal, right? As a player, he's just sitting there waiting?
No, he's just... all I've said is that he would potentially be open to the move. Arsenal, we know, are interested. They've been interested throughout this transfer window. But it is a case that it is a lot of money. And Crystal Palace are likely to want that full release clause paid, whereas Arsenal could do one of two things. Yes, meet the release clause or maybe negotiate on it. And that doesn't necessarily mean pay less. They could say, we'll pay you a bit more, but for more favourable payment terms.
OK, let's go to Eberechi Eze. Dharmesh, what's the latest? I was hoping he might come to the Premier League, but it doesn't look like it.
This is a great story because Eberechi Eze has now arrived in Marseille ahead of completing a sensational return to the club. I think we can see some exclusive pictures from earlier on. This was Eberechi Eze on a private jet. This is him leaving Milan Airport with his representatives from Premier Sports Talent on the way to Olympique Marseille. And we can see some more pictures at the other end. Have a look at the reception he has received on landing in Marseille. The fans have turned out in force. They are ecstatic that he is back at the club. He will have a medical tomorrow, having agreed a 2-year deal with the club. He'll take a pay cut as well from what he was on at the Saudi Pro League club Al Qadsiya. He left Marseille, you'll remember, for Al Qadsiya last summer after a season where he scored 30 goals in 43 starts. You can see why the Marseille fans...
They love him.
...are enjoying the fact that he is back. Last season for Al Qadsiya, 21 goals in 36 games. A mutual termination of the final year of his contract was arranged last week. He had offers from Spain, from Turkey, other offers from Saudi. There were inquiries from 2 Premier League clubs as well. There is Marseille, where he is returning to, and they are absolutely loving the fact that he's going back.
Premier League clubs, where do you want to start?
Let's start with Arsenal, James. And their focus is on player sales, but dialogue remains open over a potential deal for Crystal Palace forward Eberechi Eze.
Manchester United have held talks with Aston Villa over the signing of Ollie Watkins, but the price has been deemed too high at this stage.
PSG still short of Bournemouth's valuation for defender Ilya Zabani. Talks continue.
Brentford expect Johan Wissa to return to the club's training ground tomorrow. However, one source has told Sky Sports News that while Wissa will come back to the training ground, he has no intention of training with the team.
Brighton winger Jeremy Sarmiento is likely to leave on a permanent deal this transfer window.
Good news for the newly promoted Burnley. Their centre-back Maxime Esteve has signed a new 5-year contract.
Chelsea closing in on the signing of Ajax centre-back Joro Hato and are advancing on a deal for RB Leipzig forward Xavi Simons.
Crystal Palace defender Rob Holding is set to join the Colorado Rapids in the MLS on a free transfer.
Everton still in the market for players after signing left-back Adam Asnou from Bayern Munich for £10.4 million.
Fulham remain in talks with Arsenal around a deal to bring Reece Nelson back to the club this season.
Talks ongoing between Werder Bremen and Leeds United over the loan signing of Isaac Schmidt.
Bayern Munich have signed Luis Diaz from Liverpool in a deal worth around £65 million.
Celtic have agreed a season-long loan deal to sign Manchester.
Arsenal's London rivals Chelsea. And James, it looks like there's been a breakthrough in negotiations for a centre-half that they've been chasing.
Yeah, it's been an incredibly busy summer for Chelsea. They spent a lot of money heading into the Club World Cup and it paid off. They won the Club World Cup. Jamie Gittins, João Pedro, Liam Delap, Esteval amongst the players through the door, and they're closing in now on the signing of the Ajax centre-back Joro Hato. Talks were set to continue today. He's been pushing for the move, just 19 years of age, but he fits into Chelsea's strategy of signing young players who have got huge potential, but on low base wages with heavily incentivised contracts. They've been keen to sign Hato because he's a centre-back but can play left-back as well. It's incredible the amount of football that Marc Cucurella has played over the course of the last 12 months or so. He played nearly 70 matches for Chelsea and Spain last season. Levi Colwill has played at left-back for Chelsea, always done a good job there, but they feel like they need more options in that area of the pitch. So Joro Hato looks like he could become a Chelsea player over the course of the next few days as they gear up for another season. They've not had long off between the Club World Cup and the start of next season. We wait to see what impact that has. They're certainly building a squad that can be competitive and win more silverware this season.
Yes.
James says that they want more options at centre-back. I think Chelsea want more options in the forward areas as well, because I think they've only got about 844 options at the moment, so why not get one more? Now, in all seriousness, they're thought to be advancing on a deal for the RB Leipzig forward Xavi Simons. Club-to-club talks are ongoing. Club-to-representative talks are ongoing. They're advancing, we're told, no agreement yet, but it's understood that they are moving in a positive direction. But in all seriousness, they do want more options in those areas. But you'd expect then, with a number of players in those forward areas, expect some players maybe in those areas to leave before the end of this window as well.
OK, as for Nottingham Forest, it looks like they're gearing up for European football next season. We've seen how relentless it can be, haven't we, James, with midweek games, and that pressure to perform almost every 2 to 3 days is intense. They're going to need to add to their squad, aren't they?
It is intense, and it feels like the mood music is changing a little bit around Nottingham Forest at the moment, because they lost Anthony Elanga, then it looks like they may have lost Morgan Gibbs-White. He signed a new contract, and now they've beaten Napoli to the signing of Dan Ndoye. He was due to undergo a medical today at Nottingham Forest ahead of a move from Bologna.
Arsenal have been informed that they would have to pay more than half of Eberechi Eze's release clause up front to sign the England forward, with Crystal Palace determined not to allow him to leave for less than a fee that could reach up to £67.5 million including bonuses. It is understood Arsenal officials have held initial talks with Palace over a deal for Eze, who has 2 years left on his contract at Selhurst Park. Palace are believed to have indicated that they are not willing to accept any bids below the 27-year-old's release clause and want £35 million in advance, with the rest of his initial £60 million fee due in instalments. The clause includes up to £7.5 million in add-ons and is thought to expire before the Premier League season kicks off on the 16th of August, although that is not understood to affect Palace's valuation of the player they signed from Queen's Park Rangers in 2020 for a fee worth up to £19.5 million. QPR are believed to be due 15% of any profit Palace make on the sale. Arsenal officials are understood to have met with Eze's representatives last month to discuss personal terms, and he is thought to be keen to return to the club where he was released as a 13-year-old.